One person invested 10 years and stopped. Another invested 25 years non-stop. The person who stopped won by almost double. That sounds impossible, but I'm going to show you exactly how and why most of you are on the wrong side of that story right now. Sound familiar? Let me paint you a picture. It's the first of the month. Salary just hit your account. Let's say 60,000 rupees. You feel great. You tell yourself, okay, this month I'm going to actually save. You transfer 5,000 rupees to your savings account. You feel responsible. You feel like an adult. Then the rent hits. Then the EMI. Then there's a friend's wedding, a birthday dinner, Zomato 3 times because, look, it was a long week. And by the 20th of the month, you're checking your bank balance every hour, praying that the 5,000 rupees you saved actually stays saved. Sound familiar? Yeah, I thought so. I'm Rohan, and I spend way too much time thinking about why perfectly intelligent people make absolutely terrible decisions with their money. If you're someone who earns decently, knows investing is important, has maybe even downloaded a mutual fund app, but somehow still ends up broke 2 weeks before the next payday, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Today we are going deep. We're talking about 10 money rules that most Indians, and I mean most, are either flat out ignoring or doing completely backwards. And look, I'm not here to make you feel bad. I'm here because the financial landscape in India right now is genuinely exciting and way too many people are missing the boat. Let's go. Rule 1. Pay yourself first, always. Here's the thing that most financial advice gets backwards. They tell you to save what's left after spending. That is exactly why you're always broke. The moment your salary arrives, the very first transaction, before rent, before EMIs, before Swiggy, before anything, should be to yourself. Transfer a fixed percentage to your investment or savings account. Non-negotiable, automatic, done. This is called paying yourself first. It sounds basic, but the psychology behind it is everything. When money leaves your account before you even see it, your brain adjusts. You spend within whatever is left. But when you try to save what's left, your brain always finds a reason the leftover is zero. Now you might be thinking, Rohan, I don't even have enough to save after basic expenses. Okay, fair. Start with 5%. On a 60,000 rupees salary, that's 3,000 rupees a month. In 5 years at 12% returns through a Nifty 50 SIP, that 3,000 rupees becomes roughly 2.4 lakh rupees. Start with 5%, then work up to 20%. The rule is simple. Automate before you tempt yourself. Rule 2. Your emergency fund is not optional. I cannot tell you how many people skip this. They jump straight into stocks or crypto. They've got 50,000 rupees in mutual funds and then their bike breaks down and they're swiping a credit card at 36% annual interest. Here's what most people don't realize. Your investments are not your emergency fund. If the market crashes 20% the exact day your laptop dies, do you really want to sell your SIP units at a loss to just buy a laptop? An emergency fund is 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses sitting in a liquid fund or a high-yield savings account, accessible within 24 to 48 hours, doing nothing exciting but always there. Let's do the math. If your monthly expenses are 35,000 rupees, your emergency fund target is between 1.05 lakh rupees and 2.1 lakh rupees. Park it in a liquid mutual fund. You'll earn around 7% annually and you can redeem within one business day. That's your financial immune system. Build this first, before anything else. No exceptions. Rule 3. Understand what your FD is actually doing to you. Okay, this one might upset some people, especially those of you with parents who think FDs are the pinnacle of financial wisdom. Let me give you some 2026 numbers. The average FD rate right now from major Indian banks sits around 6.5 to 7% per annum. Sounds decent, right? But here's the catch. The RBI's own February 2026 MPC projections put FY26 inflation at just 2.1%. So your real return on an FD is roughly 4 to 4.5% before taxes. After taxes, especially if you're in the 30% bracket, that real return crumbles to somewhere between 2 to 3%. And here's what makes that actually worse than it sounds. That 2.1% inflation number means the RBI is in rate cut mode, which will push FD rates lower over the next 12 to 18 months. The window is closing. You're not building wealth, you're slowly falling behind while feeling safe. Look, FDs have a place. Short-term goals, senior citizens, capital protection. But if you're a 28-year-old putting your entire savings in an FD and calling it investing, I need you to understand what that is actually costing you over 20 years. The Nifty 50 has delivered approximately 12 to 13% CAGR over the last decade. Over 20 years, 10 lakh rupees in an FD at 7% becomes 38 lakh rupees. The same 10 lakh rupees in a Nifty 50 index fund at 12% CAGR, that's 96 lakh rupees, nearly 2.5 times more. That's not a small difference. That's the difference between a comfortable retirement and a stressful one.
Rule 4. From 50-30-20 to 50-20-20-10. Adapt the rule for India in 2026. You've probably heard of the 50-30-20 budgeting rule. 50% on needs, 30% on wants, 20% on savings and investments. Solid framework, globally popular. But I want you to take that classic rule and consciously adapt it into what I call the 50-20-20-10 rule, because in 2026, the old split is quietly working against you. In India's current interest rate environment, the RBI has cut the repo rate cumulatively by 125 basis points since April 2025, bringing it to 5.25%, where it has held steady since December 2025. Borrowing is getting cheaper, which sounds great, but it also means your savings accounts and FDs earn less. This makes equity participation even more important than it was 2 years ago. My adapted version for the Indian middle class in 2026. 50% non-negotiable needs, rent, EMIs, groceries, utilities. 20% investing, SIPs, PPF, NPS, automated on salary day. 20% lifestyle and wants. 10% buffer or upskilling. The moment you keep your lifestyle at 20% and you're investing at 20%, you've joined a very small and very wealth-building club. Rule 5. Compound interest is everything. Start now, not later. This is where it gets really interesting. Buckle up. Meet Priya and Rahul. Same age, same income, same salary of 75,000 rupees per month. Priya starts a SIP of 5,000 rupees per month at age 25. At age 35, she stops completely. Life got busy, she got married, whatever, but she never withdraws. She just lets it sit. Rahul waits until he's 35 to start. He invests the same 5,000 rupees per month, but he keeps going all the way until age 60. At a 12% CAGR, by age 60, Priya invested for just 10 years, total investment 6 lakh rupees, and her corpus is approximately 1.76 crore rupees. Rahul invested for 25 years, total investment 15 lakh rupees, and his corpus is approximately 94 lakh rupees. Priya invested less money for less time and ended up with almost double the corpus. That is the insane, almost unfair power of compound interest when you start early. Every single year you delay costs you exponentially more on the back end. Not linearly, exponentially. If you're watching this at 22, 24, 27, the best financial decision of your life is to start a SIP today. Not when the market is at the right level, not when your salary increases. Today. 500 rupees a month is enough to start. Just start. Rule 6. Debt is not evil, but bad debt will destroy you. Here's a distinction most people never learn: the difference between good debt and bad debt. Good debt is borrowing money to buy an asset that appreciates or generates income. A home loan at 8.5% on a property in Pune or Bangalore that grows at 10% per year, that's potentially good debt. You're leveraging someone else's money to own an appreciating asset. A business loan that generates returns, good debt. Bad debt is borrowing money to fund consumption, things that depreciate or give zero financial return. And here's the shocking stat for 2026 that most people don't realize. Credit card outstanding in India has reached 2.8 lakh crore rupees as of FY 2024, from virtually nothing a decade ago. Credit card interest rates in India range from 36% to 42% per annum. Let that sink in. 42% annual interest. If you carry a balance of 50,000 rupees on your credit card for 1 year, you've paid 21,000 rupees in interest charges alone. That's money you earned, worked for, paid tax on, and handed over to a bank for absolutely nothing. The rule is this: pay your credit card bill in full every single month without fail. Use it for rewards and convenience, not for credit. The moment you treat a credit card as extra money, you've started playing a game designed for you to lose. Rule 7. Insurance is not an investment. Stop mixing them. Okay, I need to take a breath for this one because this is probably the most common financial mistake I see in India, and it's one that's actively sold to people by agents who benefit from the confusion. Endowment plans, ULIPs, money back policies. These products are sold as the best of both worlds. You get insurance and returns. And that sounds amazing, but here's what the math actually looks like. A typical endowment plan might offer you a return of 4 to 5.5% per annum after 20 to 25 years. Meanwhile, a term insurance plan, pure life cover for 1 crore rupees, costs a healthy 30-year-old maybe 10,000 to 12,000 rupees per year in premium. If you had bought a term plan at 12,000 rupees a year and invested the remaining premium difference, which could be anywhere from 30,000 to 80,000 rupees per year depending on the policy, into a diversified mutual fund at 12% CAGR, you would end up with 3 to 4 times more money at maturity while having more insurance coverage the entire time. Keep your protection and your wealth creation separate. Pure term life insurance for protection, mutual funds and equity for wealth creation. These are two different jobs. Don't ask one product to do both poorly. Rule 8. Diversify intelligently, not randomly. Here's what most people don't realize about diversification in 2026. Owning 15 mutual funds is not diversification. If 12 of those funds are large cap equity funds that all hold the same top 50 stocks, you've just created an expensive illusion of diversification. True diversification means spreading across asset classes, equity, debt, gold, and international exposure, not just across multiple funds within the same category. Here's a simple data-backed framework that experts like Anand Rathi Wealth and AMFI Data consistently recommend for 2026. If your horizon is 3 plus years, 60% equity, index funds plus some mid-cap, 20% debt funds, 10% gold ETFs, 10% international exposure. If your horizon is 7 plus years, 80% equity, large cap index plus flexi-cap, 10% debt, 10% gold. India's mutual fund AUM has now crossed 81 lakh crore rupees, AMFI November 2025. SIP inflows hit an all-time high of 29,529 crore rupees in October 2025. The structural growth story is real, but within that story, there are smart ways and dumb ways to participate. One index fund tracking the Nifty 50 will give you exposure to India's top 50 companies with an expense ratio as low as 0.1%. Over 80% of active large-cap fund managers have historically failed to beat that index over a 10-year period. Start simple, stay disciplined. Rule 9. Your lifestyle inflation is your biggest enemy. This is where I get a little frustrated, not with you, with the system that normalizes this. Lifestyle inflation is this sneaky thing that happens every time your income grows. You get a 10,000 rupees raise, suddenly you need a better phone, a bigger apartment, weekend brunches at places that charge 600 rupees for eggs. The raise gets entirely absorbed into new expenses and your savings rate stays exactly the same as before. Here's the number that should shake you. In India, household financial savings as a share of GDP dropped from 11% in FY21 to just 5.3% in FY24. In 3 years, cut in half. People are earning more, India's per capita income is rising, but they're saving proportionally less. That gap is lifestyle inflation. The rule: every time your income increases, increase your SIP by at least half of that increment. Example, you get a 15,000 rupees per month raise. Immediately increase your SIP by 7,500 rupees. Let the remaining 7,500 rupees improve your lifestyle. This way, both your life quality and your wealth grow together, but you're not letting 100% of every raise disappear into a bigger Amazon cart. Over a 10-year career, this one habit alone can add 60 to 80 lakh rupees to your retirement corpus. That is not a small number. That is a flat in Thane. That is your kids' education. That is freedom. Rule 10. Build multiple income streams or at least understand why you need to. Now you might be thinking, Rohan, I work 10 hours a day. I barely have time to cook. How am I supposed to build multiple income streams? Fair. Completely fair. I am not telling you to start a YouTube channel or become a dropshipper or whatever hustle culture is selling today. But here's the thing. India is entering a fascinating phase in 2026. We're projected to be the fourth largest economy globally,
We crossed Japan in nominal GDP in 2025. New trade deals, including a landmark framework with the US that slashed tariff barriers, are opening up fresh opportunities for Indian businesses in exports. GDP growth for FY27 is projected at 6.8 to 7.2%. Opportunities are everywhere. The goal isn't necessarily to have active multiple income streams immediately, though if you can, brilliant. The goal is to make your existing savings work as a passive income stream as quickly as possible. Here's what this looks like practically. A 20 lakh rupees debt mutual fund portfolio at 7% returns generates 1.4 lakh rupees per year, or about 11,700 rupees per month while you sleep. A 50 lakh rupees equity portfolio, once you reach it over 15 to 20 years, generates significant dividend and capital appreciation that begins to self-sustain. REITs, real estate investment trusts listed on Indian exchanges now let you own commercial real estate for 10,000 to 15,000 rupees, something that was impossible for regular investors 5 years ago. Your money should be working while you're working. If it isn't, you only have one income stream, your time. And time, unlike money, cannot be compounded. So let's bring all of this together because I don't want you to just nod along and then forget everything by the time you're back on Instagram. 10 rules. I'll give them to you fast. Pay yourself first, automate before you can spend it, build your emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of expenses, liquid fund, untouchable. Don't confuse FD safety with actual wealth building. Inflation is real, compounding is real. Budget with the 50-20-20-10 framework adapted for India's 2026 rate environment. Start your SIP today, even 500 rupees. The Priya versus Rahul math doesn't lie. Destroy bad debt, 42% credit card interest will eat you alive, period. Separate insurance from investment, term plan plus mutual fund beats every ULIP ever made. Diversify across asset classes, equity, debt, gold, international, not just across 15 funds that all hold the same 50 stocks. Fight lifestyle inflation. Every raise, increase your SIP by at least half the increment. Make your money work. REITs, SWPs, dividend stocks, debt funds, money should earn money. Look, I know this feels like a lot, but here's the thing. You don't have to do all 10 perfectly all at once. Pick one, just one. Start with the emergency fund or set up a 1000 rupees SIP today on Grow or Zerodha coin. One action, right now. Because here's the truth that the financial industry doesn't always tell you loudly enough. In a country growing at nearly 7% annually, where SIP inflows are hitting 29,000 crore rupees a month, and the middle class is expanding faster than almost anywhere else on the planet, the people who build wealth are not necessarily smarter than you. They just started earlier and stayed consistent. You have everything you need right now. The markets are there. The platforms are there. The information is clearly there. I mean, you've been watching this for 12 minutes. The only question is whether today is the day you actually do something about it. I'll see you in the next one.